Hello and welcome to today's live community chat or rebroadcast, whenever it is you decide or have the opportunity to jump in with us. Today we are going to be talking about the standard American diet and how the standard American diet has failed us. And we're going to go into a little bit of statistics, and then I'm going to go into the mindset aspect of how the American diet has failed us. And again, because this is our intermittent fasting day, we're going to talk about how intermittent fasting can be the thing that we can incorporate to really help us reverse some of the things that we have done to ourselves because we follow the standard American diet. And I know that we have an international group of people who tend to join us here, but because I'm an American and because I have followed the standard American diet, and that is really what I have my most experience and knowledge behind, that's what we're going to talk about today. You can apply any of these things to whatever diet you have followed or have been guided to follow wherever it is that you live. I always like to take a second to introduce myself. My name is Diane. I'm the creator of the online course and community, the Intermittent Fasting for Today's Aging Woman, as well as the online course and community, the Midlife Mindset Shift. Like I said, today we're going to be talking about the standard American diet and how it has failed us. First, I want to ask, if you're joining us new, please hit that subscribe button on YouTube. Make sure you hit that bell notification as well. That way you will get notified and you won't miss us if you want to join us live. And then for those of you joining us on Facebook, welcome. Make sure you hit that like button and you're set up for default notifications. Okay. One more housekeeping item before we get started, if you don't mind. For those of you who are wanting to join our Intermittent Fasting for Today's Aging Women course in November, we're currently taking wait list participants. So I will post the link for you guys in the comment section so that you can see it, get on our wait list, and then what we will do is we will email you when we open registration back up. Okay, so let's talk the standard American diet. So when I Googled the standard American diet, these are some guidelines that I briefly came up with a simple Google search. So the standard American diet is based off a 2,200 caloric consumption. So eating 2,200 calories a day. That 2,200 calories, the guideline is to make 50% of those carbohydrates, 15% of those protein, and 35% of those 2,200 calories fat calories. And those are macronutrients. We know that carbohydrates, protein, and fats are our macronutrients. So 50% of 2,200 calories would come from carbohydrates. Like, that's the basic definition you get of governing the standard American diet if you do a Google search. So because most of us are not trained nutritionists, we don't walk around with calculators when we're choosing to dine out or have a dinner with our family. We don't really understand what carbohydrates, protein, and fats really are comprised of as far as nutrients go. We're just following a generalized macro guideline. A lot of us really haven't ever followed the standard American diet guidelines. We have completely blown it out of proportion because there's no real breakdown or guidance or facts or anything that we can use to just really run our life around nutrition. And nutrition is that thing that will literally make or break us. So here's some statistics that are shocking from the American society as a whole, the average American society, because of the standard American diet. We know that the standard American diet is mostly comprised of processed foods because we're busy people. We want it fast. We want it now. And whether you're eating it out or you're eating it at home, most of our food is comprised of processed foods. 1 in 4 Americans eat fast food every day. So again, fast food, processed food, to me, they're kind of one and the same. If it doesn't come in its natural state, if it's not a 1 ingredient food, if you have to do this to a package or do one of these to a package or it has an expiration date on it, then it's probably a processed food. And 1 in 4 Americans are eating fast food or processed food every single day. Obesity is our #1 and biggest health concern in our country. 1 in 3 Americans are considered obese, like clinically obese, and 17% of children in the United States ages 2 to 19 are also considered obese, and the average American consumes 130 pounds of sugar a year. So think about 130 pound, let's say teenager living in your house, you're consuming that much in sugar every year. And again, those statistics, I believe personally, as just me, a person, come from the guidelines that are set up from the standard American diet, and that is 2,200 calories, 50% of those carbohydrates, 15% and the 35 coming from fat, with no real breakdown of where those macronutrients should come from. And again, because most of us don't walk around with calculators trying to figure out what percentage of carbs, protein, and fat are coming from whatever given meal that we're eating, we tend to blow those totally out of proportion, or we're grabbing foods that are fitting within the carbohydrate category, but we don't understand what the nutritional makeup of that food is because there are no further guidelines. So we are uneducated about how to take care of our bodies nutritionally. We are generally marketed to, and so the way that we choose to nourish our bodies with the nutritional choices that we make are usually guided from marketing standpoints and not sound nutritional guidelines. So how do we fix all of this? And then I want to say one more little caveat too before I move on, and that is if you're in my generation, so I'm a 54-year-old woman, we also didn't have apps and smartphones and things that we could carry around with us as we were growing up. Our parents didn't for sure, where we could even do quick calculations or break things down. So everything was sort of like you're kind of throwing darts if you were someone who was really trying to manage a healthy lifestyle around nutrition. And if you were just a layman and had no clue, you really just ate off of marketing and advertising, and you were pretty much just guessing at things. So how do we fix this? Well, I think the best approach is trying to understand how it is our body works in conjunction with nutrition, right? And not just nutrition as a standalone aspect of our life. And that's why here we really do try to work our life around, being authentic in how it is we are choosing to take care of ourselves with just the basic guideline of food serves two purposes, right? Or nutrition, I guess, would be the more accurate way to describe this. Two purposes, right? To help our bodies age successfully, or to break our body down and have a life of aging that is ridden of disease and loss of life, basically, before we even get to the point of expiration. We start to lose our facilities because our body is breaking down internally. And that's really how food serves us, either in a positive way or in a negative way. And so we want to think about what I like the analogy of exercise, because we have experienced that probably, or we can see or feel the three areas that I want to talk to you about today, and how we can really transfer this and how it is we are going to choose nutrition in the future. So I like to think of exercise, and I talk about exercise when I'm coaching women in three, kind of categories that we want to nail to get our nutrition really dialed in. One is intensity. So how hard are you willing to work out, or how hard do you have to work out to achieve a desired result? The second thing is duration of your exercise bout. How long do you need to work out in conjunction with your intensity to make sure you don't get injured and you'll achieve your desired result? And the third thing is how consistent are you going to be with these first two things to make sure that you're going to stay in the game for the long haul, right? And that's what I call the trifecta to aging successfully, is when we get that fitness component mixed in with everything else that we're doing, because we want to physically be able to show up for our life. Any one of those three things missing from your routine can really skew your desired result. So if you give up on exercise, the intensity and duration won't matter. If you're going too hard too often and you're not caring for your body, then like almost in a desperate attempt to change something, then you can get injured. And the duration thing can be like, is it consuming your life? Do you have to work out for so long to undo maybe some other things that you've done that you just find no joy in it and you get burnt out and lose your sort of desire to stay in the game. So intensity, duration, and consistency. So what 3 components can we build into our nutritional lifestyle so that we can, which is the ultimate goal for everything, achieve our desired result? So I believe there's 3 things we need to consider when we're trying to create our own diet system or nutritional guidelines to help us look and feel our best while creating our most authentic life. One is when to eat, right? So when should you start your feasting window, and how frequently through your day should you consume calories or take in calories so that you can achieve your desired result? 2, what should you eat? So what should your nutritional guidelines be comprised of so that you can achieve your desired result? And the third thing is why we eat, right? And this third one is the one that will catch us all before the first 2, right? Why is it that we are making these choices for ourselves? And in a lot of communities of women, the self-sabotaging or the emotional component that we don't spend enough time trying to figure out will really be the thing that catches us off guard, right? Because we know what good nutrition is, or most of us know what good nutrition is. We know how we feel when we eat, as far as when we start our day. And if you're intermittent fasting, we'll talk a little bit about the time restrictive eating, but oftentimes it's the why we're eating, and we're eating for a lot of the wrong reasons. So if we can get those 3 things dialed in, when to eat, what to eat, and why it is we're choosing to eat, then we have nailed the game of nutrition, and we can really create a life where we have the opportunity to look and feel our best and do it most authentically, because we're doing it off of the choices that we're making for ourselves, because we finally figured out how nutrition works for us. So the when to eat. We know with intermittent fasting that it allows our body an opportunity to rest, right? So we have an opportunity to let our body work internally on itself to fix a lot of the metabolic problems that we have as we start to age, which causes our metabolism to slow down and yada, yada, yada. All those things that we're unhappy with is usually the result of our metabolic system slowing down. And that's really when we start to age prematurely. So figuring out when to eat is the first component. And that's where intermittent fasting really does help us, because it allows us to delay when we start our feasting window, and we build in a natural caloric restriction if we start to figure out what it is we're supposed to eat. And what I really like to teach is the keto-like approach to feasting, right? 1 ingredient foods as often as you can, trying to get as few of your meals out of, the package that you have to open up, or the fast food type of thing. Eating a fast food meal on occasion is not going to ruin what it is you're trying to achieve. But if you are like the standard American following that diet, you're probably eating it too frequently, and we got to get ourselves in check on that. So what to eat? 1 ingredient foods comprised of as much naturally occurring fat as we deem necessary for us to achieve our goals. We want to make sure that we are not over proteining our body. Remember, for so many of us, we are so protein frantic because we believe that if we don't eat a certain amount of grams of protein per pound of body weight that we have, that we are gonna lose muscle mass. And we know that that is just not true. And if you're consuming too much protein, you're overeating. That's just the fact on that. The third thing is conscious carbohydrate. So what comprises your carbohydrate intake, right? And are they the best carbohydrates for you? Those carbohydrates should mostly come from vegetables, some fruits when your body can actually handle it and you've got a nice handle on the sugar cravings. Potatoes, beans, anything like that that serves you can be the thing that's going to fill up that carbohydrate portion of what it is that you want to do with your macronutrient intake. When we spend enough time in the conscious state of why it is we're making these food choices, then the when to eat and the what to eat becomes so much easier for us. The sad truth is that so many of us women in general or people in general, doesn't matter where it is you come from on planet Earth, are so willing to throw money at a quick fix diet that doesn't take us into regard, or a quick fix personal trainer that we hope will be able to fix our body regardless of whatever it is that we eat, and we don't spend enough time on this part. Why are we doing this to ourselves when we know better? Why are we going to let self-sabotaging be the thing that gives us an easy out? Why do we put an end date on something? If I don't get these results by this date, I'm going to jump ship and go do something else. How many more times are we going to allow the why we eat aspect of things with the question mark at the end not get answered? Why is that the thing that we're not spending the most amount of time on? Why are we not questioning the standard American diet? Why are we not questioning what someone is marketing to us? Why are we not questioning how it is we're feeling if we're not waking up every single day looking and feeling our best? So no, I don't think that there's no surprise that the acronym for the standard American diet is SAD. So many of us end up so sad about how it is we're feeling. We feel so sad about how it is we're aging. We feel so sad about how out of control our life is feeling because we have followed something that has failed us. We need to start really paying attention to a lot of the signs and signals that our body is screaming at us on a daily basis. So many things that we are suffering through are so unnecessary. And if we just start paying attention to when we eat, what we eat, and why it is we're making those choices, I promise you things will turn around. The one thing that I love about intermittent fasting and the protocols that we set up here in our community and with our courses, and if you're moving on with me and going into our mindset shift course, we work a lot on this in there as well, is the fact that we really do know what to do to take care of ourselves, right? We know what to do, but something has come up in our life that has tripped us up and has us in that self-doubt, or has us in that place where we are so unconscious as we're moving about our day that we are literally just not thinking, right? And what I love about intermittent fasting is it clears a good portion of your day. It clears your calendar free of having to think or worry about food, and you just let your body take over and do the work for you. When you really get that feeling of empowerment when you're in a fasted state and you get that confidence back, then the what to eat and the why you eat becomes so obvious to you. And if you're sticking to a nice tight protocol of the 20-hour fast like we talk about here and that 4-hour feasting window, and you get the why part right and you get the what part right, it's really hard to mess things up, right? We don't live by that thought or that mindset of I have fasted, therefore I feast, right? Because you can really mess up a really good fast by just making the wrong choices in your feasting window. But if we think about, I am going to feast so that my next fast leaves me feeling amazing and energized and ready to face my day, then we start to make better choices for ourselves. So a lot of the things that we've been trained to do, we have really been doing them backwards, right? We don't exercise off of bad food choices. We don't fast away bad food choices. We choose the food that we're choosing. We choose the nutrition that we're choosing so that we can have better workouts, so that we can have an energized day, so that we can have mental clarity, so that we feel more emotionally balanced, so that we feel empowered in our day. And we can choose how it is we want to age. And we should have the opportunity to choose to age successfully. So we really need to just admit what we were doing and what we were taught is not working, and we have to really be okay with accepting a new way to live our life. And that really does happen when you start to understand up here the choices that you're making, right? And making sure that they're sound choices based on the future self that you want to have, and that you really stop relying on other people to tell you how it is you're supposed to feed yourself and how it is you're supposed to choose the nutrition for you, because you are the only one that can decide that based on how you look and how you feel and how truly present and authentic you are feeling as you're going through your day. So I hope this helps you. I hope this gives you some confidence. I hope it gives you some permission to take care of yourself and realize that it's not your fault if you are in a place where you're not happy with the way things turned out. We all got duped, right? We all got duped, especially this generation, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80. We were taught things that just didn't work out the way they said they were. That's okay. We can check that off of our list and we can start anew anytime we decide that the things that we were doing are no longer working for us. So let me review a video we did probably, I think last week, where I said there's 3 questions every woman should ask herself who's practicing intermittent fasting, right? How long should I fast? How well should I feast? And how is that working for me? You need to ask yourself 3 questions. Ask yourself those questions every single day. And that 3rd question, how are the choices that I'm making working for me? If you have to make tweaks, that's okay too. But I think most of us are not walking around asking ourselves that 3rd question, right? We can say how long we want to fast. We can say how well we're going to feast, but how's that working for me? How are those choices really working for me? And I think when we can confidently say, man, I'm feeling great. I feel like I'm at my best. Everything's going smooth. Then we know that we have got those 3 things in place, right? When to eat, what to eat, and why it is we are choosing to do the things that we're doing. Okay, so let me see who's here today. I'll welcome anybody who's on the live. I'll welcome you if you come back on the rebroadcast as well. If you have any questions, now's your time to ask them. Or if you want to just introduce yourself and say hello. I love knowing that you guys are here. So please take a second to do that in the comment section. Nancy, hello, girlfriend. Good to have you with us. Danny, good afternoon to you as well. And I'll let Michael know you said hello to him. Let's see, Nancy, I'm a newbie in the October 2020 class. Okay, good, girlfriend. I hope this little live today is clicking in with everything else that you are learning inside your lessons, inside of the class. We really do have to take our health back into our own hands. We don't want to be one of those statistics, right? We don't want to end up being one of those people who ends up being on the obesity list. And if we end up on the obesity list, we have to figure out how to get ourselves off of it, right? Because we were guided there. We need to figure out how to get ourselves off that list and back into control over what it is that we're doing to take care of ourselves. And we definitely don't want anything to be, we don't want to fall in the average American health crisis categories at all. We do have the power to control that for sure. Dominique, I'm currently enrolled in the October class and loving it. Dominique, you're doing good in there. Thank you so much for being so present inside of our community group. I know you are a bright light for a lot of women in there. So thank you so much for showing up and going all in with us. I appreciate you for sure. Sandra, hello. October 2020 class, loving fasting long. I gotta say, my October women, you guys, you went all in. So many of you are really jumping into that 20-hour fast and you are loving it. So what I love about when you jump into the 20-hour fast so quickly is you really start to reap those benefits, and then you get to practice for the next couple of weeks in class. So really stick to this for this next 3 weeks, and then at the end of class, what you'll feel is you'll feel totally reset, and you'll have this new way of living your life, and you'll live it confidently because you had a good amount of time to really to work it into your lifestyle. So I'm loving the fact that you guys are going all in with me. Love it, love it, love it. Okay, let's see. Sandra, she already did that one. Diane, girlfriend, I haven't seen you in a while. How are you? Diane is one of our, God, I think were you 2017 or 2018? Not sure. Diana, October 2020 class, already seeing so many great results from IF, starting to recognize my body again, learning to eat more fat is new to me, and it really works. Yeah, for sure. We just want to make sure that we're getting our fats from the right categories, right? So we want to, as much as we can, we want to stay away from processed foods, no matter what macro category those come from. And it sounds like you're doing that because you are starting to see your old self come back. And that's going to be your new self. So I'm super proud of you and excited. And it just gets better. I'm telling you, it gets better as time goes on for sure. Marianne, how much protein is enough? You have to really figure that out for you. I've experimented with protein. And I always feel like when I'm getting too much protein, the way I know I'm getting too much protein is I start to get a fluffy, heavy, sort of just thick feeling about my body. And if you've fasted 20 hours long, you know the feeling of that is when you just feel light on your feet and everything just feels like, I don't know, just it feels like light. I don't even know how to describe it. So when I feel heavy and fluffy, I know I'm getting too much protein. And so that's how I just gauge it for myself, and I just pull back. When I eat less animal protein, I feel my best. So I even cut back on the portions of protein that I eat animal protein wise when we have dinner with our family or whatever. That's helped a lot too. So instead of eating an entire piece of salmon, I'll eat a half. And that, even cutting back that much, it is helpful. The other thing is, protein comes in a lot of different sources, and unless you're looking for it, you don't really realize it's there. So I eat a lot of plant-based type of meals, and I get a lot of protein there as well. And my body just seems to handle that better. But I don't ever feel, even when I go completely plant-based, I don't ever feel like my body is being deprived of enough protein. So that's a way to gauge it too. Just cut out like all extra proteins and just let it naturally occur in your food when you're dishing up your food or plating your food, and then see how you feel with that too. Personally, I don't like and I don't teach counting unless that's a thing that really drives you. If you're like a counter and you like to know everything perfectly, then I would just play around with some different percentages. You'd also have to know what your total calorie consumption is, and then just kind of tweak it depending on how you look and feel. I hope that helps. Let's see, Bridget, the too much protein is extremely enlightening. Yeah, for sure. Protein isn't that thing that, we especially need as women to build muscle either. We need human growth hormone, right? And that's the thing that starts to wane off naturally as we age. And again, that's where intermittent fasting really does come into play, because I think your human growth hormone production is at 600% of what the norm is when you're intermittent fasting, especially when you're doing it clean and you're exercising. And so that's what we need to really help us maintain the muscle mass that we have. And so unless you're like some bodybuilder, and there's a lot of plant-based bodybuilders too who are just physique-wise just absolutely amazing. And so animal protein isn't that thing that we need. And I think if we just let it naturally fall into place and we're not panicked about it, you'll find that your life is just a lot simpler and it's a lot less expensive as well. Because that's one of those things that we have to add in that's extra, and we don't really need to do that anymore. And the one ingredient food is also for me because all these recipes are overwhelming. Yeah, I don't like to do anything with I really don't like the word recipe. Let's just call them feasts, right? So what are you going to feast on today? And I think that if you can take one ingredient foods and put them together in a bowl or a plate and toss them, grill them, whatever it is you do with them, and you just call it your feast, that is so much easier. Not everything needs to be a souffle or a casserole or any of those kind of things. Just experiment with food and throw it together and see what comes out of it. And then just call it what you call it, right? We, again, are still so stuck to like breakfast, lunch, and dinner, but it's just food. Like you can have what's considered normal at breakfast at dinner. You don't have to miss breakfast type of food. You just move it to your feasting window and you just call it your evening feast, and you just enjoy it however it is you enjoy it. So yes, it is so much easier. And I'm that kind of girl, if it's more than a 2-step cooking process, it ain't happening in my kitchen. And a lot of times the recipes are super, 3-4 step of this kind of thing. And it's just over consuming for me, right? I'm not a chef, but that's what chefs do, and that's where they get their delight from. So we also have to take that into consideration too, is where the recipes are coming from. And if that's their lifestyle and that's what works for them, I think that that's fantastic. Take those as ideas and see if you can simplify it for yourself. That will help a lot also. Teresa, it's good to see you here today, girlfriend. September 2018 grad, going strong. Nicola, hello. She's also in our October 2020 class. Let's see. Cindy, I've been thinking and haven't taken the dive yet. I've spoken with you before. Well, I've decided I'm going to sign up for the 11/7 class. Cindy, I finally got you. I feel like that's a win for me today. I can't wait to have you in class with us. So just make sure you're on my wait list. So if you're on my email list, you're good to go. We'll probably start emailing in the next week or so and inviting you guys to just go ahead and jump in with us. And it's the last class of the year, so it's kind of an hour and everything, girlfriend. And I'm super excited to have you. We'll be done before Thanksgiving. So you'll be a new person around Thanksgiving. And then Ellen, August 2018 grad, just started a new job with a very irregular schedule, trying to figure out my fasting and my feasting times. I would say brain dump it on some paper and figure out how fasting will make your life simpler in your new job. And then really build your fasting windows and your feasting windows around your schedule and your lifestyle. Try not to make it perfect because it's not going to be perfect, but settle into your new routine and then just make your fasting around a time that will make your life simple. Usually it's around the time you're at work. You don't have to pack a lunch. You can skip your breakfast or the first meal before you go to work if that works for you. And then feast when you're at home if you have a family, or reverse it if you work nights is what I say. So make it work for your schedule. Don't try to make your schedule work for your fast. It never, ever works out well that way. And congratulations on a new job for sure. Diane, every other month I do an extended fast. Just this morning finished 63 hours. It was a struggle though, but I'm a soldier and I feel a boost. Patience is really a virtue. Thank you for all. Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome for sure. Diane, 2017. I knew that you've been here with us since the beginning. It's good to see you. Rita, 2020 grad, great talk. Thank you. You're welcome. Is it Nicey, I think? I can't wait for the new me. Yeah, it's coming, girlfriend. It is coming. And remember, all the other things that we have done have failed us, right? So this will work. You have to stick with it and you have to build it authentically around how you see yourself in the future. When you do that, there's no other options. There's no other choices. Just live your life authentically and then have the goal of waking up looking and feeling your best. That really does make it simple. Ellen, August 2019 grad, just started a new full-time job with, I think I already did that one. Let's see. Julie, October 2020 class, I needed this today. For some reason, today was a struggle, didn't give in, no, and revert back to old habit. That's progress. That's big progress. Girlfriend, make sure that you are super proud of yourself for that. Not giving in means you're winning at the mental game, right? And it's all mental. Your body will go so much longer and so much farther than oftentimes our mind really believes that we can't. Our mind is always the limiting factor, which is why I really suggest that for a lot of us women, and it really changed a lot for me when I dove into this aspect of life, is stop worrying about the next diet, stop worrying about the next personal trainer, fitness program until you get this right? Get your head right first. And that's where, I think life coaching and one-on-one coaching with other women has really been a big game changer. It's been a big industry leader for the last couple of years because we got to get this right. We got to undo a lot of that stuff that we believed in the past that didn't work for us and change that cycle of behavior so that we can start to get those wins that we want. So I'm super excited for you, Julie, and I'm super proud of you. Bridget, yes, my thoughts exactly. Awesome. Nicey, way to go, Julie. I struggled a little bit today too, but I just had to refocus. Yeah, refocus for sure. Oftentimes it's just, that it's old habits that we haven't broken yet, or something was a trigger for you that your reaction was always the same thing. So just change the reaction and stay conscious. Stay conscious, right? That's the big trick right there. Jennifer, changed my workout in the past month to incorporate more weights, full body intensity workouts, making me feel hungry earlier in the day. I've stopped my one meal a day and started to eat about 2 hours before and eating a little more protein, not meats or nuts, but I'm losing weight. Oh my God, my body is changing. Staying as keto-like as I can. Do I need to eat some sweet potatoes? I would try sweet potatoes. Sweet potatoes are my go-to. Actually, potatoes in general are my go-to, but sweet potatoes are really great. And let me share with you, just because you made that change, when I do endurance type training, so 45 minutes or more, I did it yesterday. I did it today. I did an hour workout on the treadmill with some inclines. I did an endurance type of workout today on the Peloton bike. My stomach, I'm fine. Like I feel a little bit hungry, but I'm fine. If I do a HIIT workout or a shorter, more intense workout, or I lift weights, I find that I feel hungrier. So maybe on the days that you're doing that intense weightlifting, shorten your feasting window. Just make sure that you're shorten your fasting window. Make sure that your feasts are really nutrient dense, right? And play around with some things. Yes, sweet potatoes are great. We don't even have a problem in our house. We eat rice loaded up with some good vegan butter. Those kind of things, add those to your feast and see that helps as well. But I would supplement a little bit, especially if you're feeling like the hunger is not a good feeling. But if you're noticing some good changes in your body, Good for you, girlfriend. You're finding what works for your body for sure. Julie, nice job. Nicey, we can do this. Yeah, we can do this for sure. Okay, so 3:35, that means I am 5 minutes over my time limit. I love having conversations with you guys in the comment section. So whatever amount of time it takes me to get your questions answered or get you to a place where you're feeling noticed in this journey that we're on, I'm here for you guys. I'll stay as long as I need to. Remember, whatever you were doing before, if it's not working for you, girlfriend, it's just not working for you, give yourself permission to exit out of that and consider trying to do something else. We want to think of 3 components when we're thinking about how it is we're incorporating nutrition into our life so that we can get to the place that is our desired end result. That's aging successfully while we look and feel our best and living our most authentic life. Consider when you should be eating. Consider what you should be eating and consider why you should be eating those things. And if you can really zone in on those 3 things, I promise you everything around food will get so much simpler for you and you will start to find those wins. Remember, for those of you interested in our November course, we have a wait list going. Get on that wait list. Worst case scenario, you're just going to get a bunch of emails from me giving you some information and sharing some testimonials about other women in our course, so you can make a decision if that's right for you. But a warning that November will be our last course for the year 2020. We have some changes coming in 2021. So if you've been on the fence, get in now with us. Have a great rest of your Wednesday, you guys. I will see you back here on Monday at 3 p.m. Central Standard Time. Or you can join me tomorrow morning at 8:15 Central Standard Time in the morning over on Instagram. We had an amazing conversation today about procrastination. So if you find that you are maybe someone who's feeling like you're procrastinating about some things, jump on over to my Instagram channel and you can catch it in my IGTV. It was posted today, so it should be right on the top for you. Have a good day. Thanks for choosing to spend some time with me. I always appreciate the communication that we can have and the connection we get to have here on these live chats and on the rebroadcast as well. I know that your time is very precious and very valuable to you, so I appreciate that you're giving a little bit of that to me today. I'll see you guys on Monday.